see here. Tantana behind schedule. All right. Why? Setting up your room two. Jeez. Give me, guys. It's not me. It's just how long this is taking. It's acting like it doesn't want to record. Okay, there we go. Let me share my screen. Oh, hold on. There you go. Take myself off the camera, and we're good to go. All right. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, yes.
All right, good, good, good. Welcome back, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Um, our Torah portion this last week was dealing with the book of Numbers. That is the English word that is used in a book that we call our Bible. It is the third, excuse me, is it first, second, third? No, it's the fourth. It's the fourth book in the Bible called Numbers. The real name of this in particular scroll is called Bamidbar. 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 Midbar. Has to do with accounting and oversight. So when you read it this week, you're probably asking yourself, okay, how does this apply to our lives and what am I supposed to get out of it? All it's talking about is a whole bunch of, accounting, dealing with the different tribes, the different families. You should know who your family is. You should know where you come from. You should know um, by by heart the names of the tribes. If you don't know, that's something you should know. That's something that you should set to memory because each one of those names has great significance and it gives you the story about what's really going on with this in particular family. So in the book of Numbers, which is the English word for the book called Bamidbar, gives an accounting and oversight over the people. In general, it talked about how the sons of Israel are supposed to be numbered from the age of 20 years old and up to go into military service. This is only for men. Women are not counted among, and neither are the children who are under the age of 20. I don't have a slide about why it's under the age of 20, but I want to share with you why it is. The Most High, when he looks at an individual, a male over the age of 20 and up, he's talking about someone who's come to maturity. Anyone underneath the age of 20, in his perspective, from his perspective, is immature and they're not ready. They're not ready to understand the difference between good and evil. He said that. Unlike some of the teachings that you and I have received, that we're thinking that these people or these children or these young men are just being evil and they're being wicked and they know what they're doing. The Most High doesn't look at it like that. You're under the authority of your fathers until you're the age of 20 when you're a male. The females, they come to maturity when they are ready to, of course, when they're developed, but when they're going to be married, when they're off to be married to a man, they move from their father's house unto their husband's house. They're not counted among the sons of Israel. They're not counted among the firstborn of the sons of Israel. They're not counted as being set apart. Not that they're not important, not that they don't have any significance. It's just the way that the Most High has designed it. Okay. Also, too, you found in your Torah portion, it talked about how the Levi'im are supposed to serve the Most High, and they go into what they would call today's world the Job Corps, where they learn about how to become a priest, or excuse me, a Kohanim or a Levi'im to do their service unto the Most High. They're only able to serve from the age of 30. 30. Okay. The reason why it's 30 is because the letter Lamed has to do with the number 30. Okay, 30 has to do with maturity. Maturity for what? Maturity to be able to serve the Most High. Okay, so serving in the military is different than serving the Most High. Two different designations, two different understandings, two different ways of thinking. So those are all the dates and times, and they have, a child who's a month old and up and so forth and so on. And you have your shekels and your money system. So this is all part of the Mount Sinai, or what you would call the desert experience. Okay. So in accounting. In your Torah portion, they were outlined or numbered to be into armies and divided into different locations, which has to do with the east, the south, the west, and the north. And you notice in your Torah portion, it listed Reuven and Shimon and Gad first. Well, they're not the order of their birth. However, there's some significance to why they're all together. If you've been in my teachings before, you know the reason why Reuven, Shimon, and Gad are listed together. They are the problem children of Jacob. They're the problem children. When we continue through our Torah portions, you're going to find out again that they were the troublemakers. And I don't want to go too much into that right now. And then the people that are in the east are going to be Judah, Issachar, and Zevulun. They're from Leah. Those are her sons as well. And they are going to be on the east from where the sun rises. And then, of course, on the west, you have Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. These are Joseph's sons that are going to, and his little brother that is going to be located on behind the tabernacle. Okay. And they're positioned where the Most High wants them. And if you notice in your Torah portion, it talked about how they did exactly what the Most High commanded them. That is the last verse of every chapter that you've read. And Moshe did everything that the Most High told him to do. Okay. Also, too, you find that the Leviim, who were not counted among the children of Israel, they were separated. They are also divided into divisions as well. So these armies that the Most High has divided us up into is pretty much telling us a story about how he wanted them to live among him. Okay. And each one of those camps, Judah was in charge of the east, Reuven was in charge of the south, Ephraim, he was in charge of the west, and of course, Dan was in charge of the north. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why the armies? Why are the armies mentioned? The armies are mentioned because the Most High has a set of armies. He doesn't only have armies in the heavens, but the Most High have armies here on the earth. And Israel they are his foot soldiers, and they were supposed to get prepared to go into the land that he wanted them to go into to do a conquest. Armies are for war. Okay. They're for war. So our Elohim, he's called Yahweh Zavaot. He is the Elohim of the armies, of all armies. Okay. Our Elohim is an Elohim of war. And he brings this upon individuals because it's about his rule, it's about his dominion. But on the earth, Israel is chosen or was chosen in order to be his army. Now, what are they supposed to be fighting for? In the case where you find in your Torah, along with some of the prophets, or even in the book of Joshua, you find that they were going into these lands to destroy the existing inhabitants of the land. In this case, you say, well, how can I make a connection with this? What is this about? Well, here's the deal. If we reverse engineer this, the Most High is outlining and showing us not only the divisions of the families, not only who's in charge and who he's appointed, not only how he separated the Leviim, but he's given us a clue that anytime that we're dealing with him, there's always going to be a chain of command. There's always going to be domains where who's over what, right? There's always going to be some structure and some order, okay? You and I are going to have to fight for our inheritance. We're not in the position that they were in, but we are going back to the wilderness. Just kind of let you know that you're going back to the wilderness. The army was divided at a certain time that I want to bring to your attention. It said Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the Sinai desert in the tent of meeting. Okay. And it was on the first day of the second month of the second year after they had left the land of Egypt. Okay. This is very important to understand because this is a month. This is only 30 days after the tabernacle was set up. So the tabernacle was set up on the first month of the first day of the second year. So now this is 30 days later. So within that 30 days, a lot happened. Nadab and Abihu, Aaron's sons, were killed because they brought strange fire. There were some other things that had happened. The Most High is preparing them, right? And he's like, okay, now that we're moving forward, now that I got the tabernacle up, I want you guys to understand that moving forward, everything is going to have to be structured, and there's going to have to be an order. When you guys put up your sigils, or what you would call your flags, which are symbols for your families, I want all the families to stay with their families. I don't want the Yehuda to live with the Levites. The Levites are not going to live with Shimon. The people in Ephraim are not going to be staying in the tents of Dan. Okay. This is reflective of what they were going to do when they got into the land. When they got into the land, they were supposed to divide the land up in according to his inheritance. Whoever the most, the most, I would say, I'm going to use the right term. The tribes with the most people, or the most sons and daughters and families, they were going to get the larger portion of the land. Okay, so you saw in your Torah portion that Judah was, they are the largest tribe, and so they were going to get what they would call a lion's share of the land. So the Most High is letting them know, like, okay, well, I need to set you up in a way that you guys will have some order. Okay, he uses the term "Wandober Yahweh to El Moshe Bamidbar," right? That is what is spoken in Hebrew. When we first read this, we talk about Yahweh spoke, right? But then we don't understand what that means and why. We're thinking he's just talking to him like a man talks to another man. Yeah, it is. He's talking to him. He hears him. He's responding to him. But why? Why is he talking to him the way that he's talking to him? And why did he decide to talk to him and to bring the children of Israel out to the desert, right? And the desert here is called the wilderness, okay? That word Bamidbar, right, which is what we have for the book of Numbers, this is a real name, Bamidbar. Bamidbar. The Ba, again, is a tent, and that means in or with or dwelling, right? That has to do with everything that's inside the tent. The next letter is a meme, right, which has to do with movement, okay? The meme stands for water, but water has movement. It goes back and forth. And so then, of course, you see the word Devar right there. And Devar means to speak. It means to be a thing. It also means something else that we're going to share with you. But here, agriculturally and culturally, it has to do with the idea of something moving. Now, when the Most High is talking about when you guys move out, I need these families to go first. I need this to be this way. I need Levium to be in the center. I need this family to carry the Ark of the Covenant. I need this and that. So it's about structure. And so when Moshe is going into this tent, he's constantly going back and forth to get his instructions. Okay, constantly going back and forth to the tent means that he's witnessing what the Most High has said to him, and then he goes out and he testifies to what the Most High has said. And so here it is, Bamidbar, which is your book of Numbers, means the tent that's moving, right, and speaking, right. So now the Most High is speaking, and he's speaking to the children of Israel where? In the wilderness. Okay. So here the Most High said, again, that word Devar right there, to Moshe and Aharon, the people of Israel are to set up camp by the clans, the house of their fathers. Okay. Not just their tribes, the house of their fathers, each man with his own banner under his own clan symbol. They are to camp around the tent of meeting, but at a distance. Hebraically, again, the word Bamidbar has to do with a family, right? So the Most High is organizing families in the wilderness. I want you to keep this in mind. And the word, for movement could be from grammatically, meaning from one place to the next, because this is what they're going to be doing. They're going from one place to the next. The Most High's intention was not for them to stay in the wilderness for 40 years. That was something that happened to them because they did not want to listen to him. His intent is for them to go into the land. And this was the beginning of the journey. So anytime that you're walking with the Most High, for us to learn from this today, there's going to have to be order. There's going to have to be order in our lives. There's going to have to be order. When you and I walk with the Most High, we can't do what we want to do. I'm sorry. This is what it is. We can't veer off and go where we want to go. We're going to have to go where he says to go. And this word order right here in Devar, that's part of the word wilderness. Okay, they were brought out to the wilderness to bring them into order. So again, the Most High is speaking to them, right? Because the word Devar again has to do with speaking, right? So the Most High speaks. And why is he speaking? Because he's aligning his words up, right? To move the people. To move what? To move the family. Okay, that's what he's doing. He's moving the families from one location to the next. And every time he took them to a different designation, they were to learn something when they got there. So this journey wasn't just for, hey, just let's go walk. The Most High, when you're on a journey with the Most High, is for us to learn. And we're going to have some ups and we're going to have some downs. We're going to be disappointed on some things. We are going to fall and we're going to have some failings along the way. And I don't want you to be too hard on yourself when you fail. What he wants us to do is to recognize that walking with him is going to take some order, it's going to take some structure, and it's going to take some discipline, just like when we're in the army. My experience, like I told you before, I used to be in the army. And right now I have the benefits of, my former status as being in the service. I'm able to go onto military bases. I recently went onto a military base, and what I learned when I was there, and I just sat down and I looked around, I was kind of like an outsider. And the reason why I say that is simply because the way that I dressed, the way that I looked, the way, my hair is long, everyone's hair is cut off. I have a beard, everyone's there is clean shaven, just about with, or except, some have a mustache. Some did have some beards. I can't say that's not true. But the order and the structure, they were all, a lot of them in uniform, both men and women. When they would walk into an environment or a building, they have to take their hats off. They have to take their head covering off. When they go outside, they put their hair covering on. When they see an officer, they have to salute, right? So when I was sitting there and I was paying attention, like, okay, well, what's going on here? And I said, man, I sort of feel like an outsider. The Most High brought to my attention that in any situation where there is order and there's structure, there's going to be a duty and a responsibility to live according to the way that the people that are there live. Okay. So when I'm on the base, everyone, before I get on there, I have to show my ID. And then they give you a set of rules that you have to follow. And if you don't follow these rules when you're going on base, you will actually lose your privileges. So, no, you can't drive more than 15 miles per hour. You get caught, they got police there. If you drive faster, you're going to be put off. If you're getting into any type of fights or disagreements or you're acting a certain way and you don't want to fall in line, lock and step to what they're doing, you're going to lose your privileges. You're not going to be allowed to come on base any longer. You're going to lose you're going to lose it. You're going to lose that benefit. So what can we take from this example that I'm mentioning? Well, the Most High is letting us know in his family, there's an order. Just like in the military, there's a way of dress and a code of conduct. There is a way of living that the Most High has prescribed for his people. Okay, so we're not walking around fatigues and all that kind of stuff, but there are things that he said that you need to do. Okay, there's certain foods that you and I have to eat. There's certain days that we have to give observance. When I was there, I stayed overnight a couple of times, and when I was there, they would blow the trumpet. They blow the trumpet at 7 a.m. every single morning to raise the flag. When the flag was going down, they blew it again. And I expected it. I knew that that's what it was. Okay. And when when that flag was going up, people stopped where they were in their steps and they gave attention to what they heard. Okay. So with those ideas and those concepts, we can understand what the Most High is looking for from his people. Okay. So it's about a family and it's moving from one place to the next, and it has to be done in an orderly fashion. So there's not going to be any confusion. And that pretty much sums up everything that has to do with your Torah portion. Okay, now I want to deal with the Haftarah. Okay, the Haftarah is connected. It means that, after you read your Torah portion, you're supposed to read your Haftarah. It's a connection, right? Your connection between, the prophets and the Torah. So you can find some different ideas that that can make a connection. So in our Haftarah, we find adultery. We find adultery and we find accountability. The accountability piece is what the connection is. And then, of course, there's forgiveness. So I was like, okay, well, where does the forgiveness, where does the adultery? I don't see that. I don't see it. Initially, I couldn't see it. But now I do understand it. Adultery means to be strange. It means for you to go to a stranger outside of your marriage and you're seeking something outside of what's already been given to you. In your Torah, he says that anybody who is a stranger to coming towards the Most High to do a certain service, they're going to be put to death. For example, if the Levites, which are not Kohanim, right? They're not from Aaron's family. If they were to go into the holy place and just look at something that they had no business looking at, then he says they're going to be put to death. Okay. If any Israelite decided to, I'm going to help the Levites, I'm going to help them. I want to be part of what the Most High said. I want to be part of the job. I want to do it. I want to do that. I want to help put up the curtains. I want to help put the posts. I want to carry that. Let me help you. They're going to be put to death. Okay. So the Most High is letting us know that, listen, if we go outside of what has been outlined and designated for certain classes of people, you're going to pay the consequences. We talked about it before, how there's a lot of individuals out here that are claiming that they're Levites, and they're claiming that they have a priest, and they're claiming that they have an order. Those individuals are going to they're going to be unalived. Can't say it any cleaner than that. They're going to be unalived because they're what they would call committing adultery. It means you're going outside of the bounds that have been set for you. Okay. Then there's an idea of forgiveness that is found in our Haftarah. Our Haftarah is found in the book of Hosea, which is called Hoshea, which means salvation. We're going to get into that in just a moment. So adultery, accountability, and forgiveness. The adultery piece has to do primarily with idolatry. They're one and the same. Just like Aaron's sons that they mentioned in your Torah portion and said, hey, he had these sons, Nadav and Abihu, but they died because they brought strange fire, is because they brought something that was foreign to the Most High. And that is within itself idolatry. I need you and I to hear what he's telling us. Any type of idolatry is an adultery, right? Anything that we bring to the Most High that is not what he has recommended and said is idolatry. It's idolatrous practices. If you and I are to bring an individual before him, like he says in the covenant, don't bring any other gods before me. And I want the people hearing me on YouTube, do not bring an individual. Don't bring another God. Do not mention their names to me. Don't do any of those things. Don't do it. It's idolatry. If you and I are claiming that we're from the tribe of Levi with no registration, and we're making sacrifices and offerings, and we're claiming to be these people, and it's not true, that's idolatry and it's adultery. And you're going to be put to death for it. You're going to be held accountable for it. So even what we do and what we say can be an idolatrous. That's idolatrous practices. If the most, I mean, you guys, is down to every detail, right? So he's letting us know that, don't just come up to me and bring something to me that I didn't ask you for. Then we run into the problem of saying, hey, well, what about the Sabbath? And what about this? And what about that? And we can't keep the laws. And, you got all this stuff going on. We're going to talk about that a little bit more so we can really understand what is idolatrous and what isn't. Okay. Don't try to change his word, by the way. Okay. So Yahweh's opening words in speaking to Hoshea, that's his proper name, how to say it, Hoshea. Salvation were to instruct Hoshea, go marry a whore and have children with this whore, for the land is engaged in flagrant whoring away from Yahweh. Wow. Okay. Again, what's the connection? Well, in the Torah portion, we found the Most High told Aaron and Moshe to do things, and they were instructed to do something, and they did what he told them to do. You and I would go right over this and said the worst part here is that he has to marry a whore. Yes, Kel.
Yeah, hey David. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask you, the language in this verse is very strong. I was just wondering, do you have you checked and seen the Hebrew, what the Hebrew says about the word whore, like what kind of
Yeah,
language?
that's a great question. And no problems about asking the question. That's awesome. The word whore there is called zana. Okay. And zana means someone who cuts off the seed, because that's what a whore does. Okay. And what does it mean to cut off the seed? Let me just put it up here. I don't have my writing materials, but I'll just write it out so you can know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Someone that's promiscuous and takes Plan B every time.
Yeah, here it is. Okay. So the A that we have, these two A's are vowels. Okay. So I don't want you to look at those. Okay. Just scratch those out your mind. But it's called Zana. Okay. So what is a zana? A zana is a whore. Okay. And what is a whore? A whore is someone who goes outside of the covenant. Um, she's not, I would say, honoring the covenant. She might be like you see here. There's a woman who's married who is a whore. So it's not like you can't be married and still be a whore. You can still be a whore. And not just women, it also could be a man. A man could be a whore too. That's what the Most High is trying to show us, that a man could be a zana. These two letters right here, the Z right here in Hebrew and this N right here, are the root of the word. The ah that you have, the zana, the I here is feminine. Okay. So it's letting us know this is feminine in nature. Feminine, not just because it has to do with a woman, but feminine because it has to do with the soul. Okay. It has to do with someone who is going to do something. Just like the land, Adamah, that Ah is the femininity. The Torah, okay, the Kokmah, wisdom, Torah, instructions. Those are things that are going to do something. They're going to cause some type of effect. Just like the land, the Adamah, she does her work and brings forth things. So uh, a shifka, a maid servant, she's doing something. So anytime that we see a noun like a whore, zana, is something that has to have a verb and action. So in Hebrew, your verbs and nouns are literally one and the same. Okay, so a Hebrew noun can be a verb. A verb is an action. So the action of this letter right here has to do with what they would call in the ancient Hebrew a a matic, or something to break up uh, to break the ground up. Okay, it's a cutting instrument. So what they would do is attach this instrument to a back of it's like they call it a hoe, right? Or a plow. They attach that to the end of an ox. Okay, at the end of an ox. Let me show you a little ox right here. So the ox is going around and he is walking, and he's got this hoe on the end of him, this thing that he drags behind him, and it tears up the ground. Okay, that's what it does. It tears up the ground and it gets all into the dirt and it breaks up all the soil. So it's used as a cutting instrument. Forgive my artwork. Okay. So that's what the ox does. So this letter right here, okay, has to do with cutting. And the Hebrew is called azana, right? And you can see the connection between the way that the plow is used. Okay. That's what it looks like, the plow. See, that's why the letter looks that way, because it's a plower. So it cuts open the ground. Okay. So the first part of a whore is someone who cuts. Okay. The cut can also be used as an instrument for fighting, like in war. The next letter right here, as you and I have been told, is the seed. Okay. It's the seed. Okay. So a whore is one who cuts the seed. Okay. And to cut the seed means that you're going to do something. Okay. Um, Cutting the seed, meaning, from a perspective of agriculture, is talking about a harvest. Okay. That's what it has to do, is cutting the harvest. Okay. So when it talks about this whore and what she's doing, okay, she's cutting off the seed. Okay. She's going to cut off the seed. This is what the whore does. She's the negative of the positive. Okay. So the whore is going to cut off the harvest. Okay. The seed are from our Hebraic, from the seed. This right here is the seed. Okay. Is talking about children. Okay. So what the whore is doing is, I didn't spell that right. The whore is doing is she's cutting off the children. That's what she's doing. She's going to cut off the children. So she's not going around just, trying to raise a family. And if she did have a child, the child is going to be cut off from their inheritance. As you notice in all through your writings, you find out that, people would say, oh, you were born of a mistress. You were born of a whore. You know, like I think it was one guy called it, one of the judges, his name was Yaftak. His mother was a prostitute. And so he was born, and they said, you got to get out of here. You're born of a prostitute. You don't have any inheritance with us because it cuts off the seed, it cuts off the heritage. So that's what a whore is. That's what they do. Okay.
And
So,
Are
yes,
are you saying that they're cutting off the seed because they're intermingling with other people outside of the tribes, like the other people of the nations? Like their seed is getting cut off because they're no longer part of, they're not a pure tribe anymore. Like they started to intermingle with other people or the
yes,
nations around the area.
yes,
So
yes,
their seed is no
yes,
longer connected to the 12
yes,
tribes, right?
yes, because the Most High is cutting them off.
Because you said it could be a man or a woman. A man could go outside of the tribes and be with a woman outside of the tribes, and a woman could do that too.
Here's the most humbling thing I ever have to say to let you know that I'm for real. Okay. My son went out and he married an Afghanistan woman, right?
Right. So he cut the seed off for
He
his.
cut the seed off. He cut off any inheritance rights of his sons or his daughters.
Now, if I may ask, if that Afghani woman was Torah observant, would he be cutting off the seed?
No. So that's a beautiful question. So what's the connection? Is it the Afghani woman or is it the idolatry that's associated with the Afghani woman?
It has to be the idolatry. If
It's
she
the
was in the right
idolatry.
mindset and she was practicing the Hebraic laws that we are, it wouldn't be that way. But I think
Thank
that
you.
if she's not in the right type of mind and she's teaching him other things that are not Hebraic, then it's going
Well,
against and cutting off the seed because now their children are going to be learning things that are not
yes.
Hebraic. They're going to be learning other things that other
Other
gods
things,
that they
others, and
have
so let's
known
call
about.
it, yeah, strange things, things that are not for Israel. See? So the whoring is not just the Most High uses this to identify what the problem is. You see? So Hoshea's name means Hoshea means salvation. And then he says, go marry a whore. Go marry a whore because what? Because the land is engaged in flagrant whoring. That means the people are engaged in flagrant whoring and have children with this whore. You see? And he's going to show us through this teaching about what happens to someone who's engaged in idolatry. This is not just about the whore. This is about what the whore represents. It's the cutting off the seed through idolatrous practices. Okay? So here we go. Hope everybody's paying attention. He said, go have children with this whore. Okay? She had 3 children. Okay? Her first child's name was Yisrael, not Yisrael, Yisrael. Sounds very familiar, right? It sounds almost like Yisrael is Yisrael. Okay? And then the second one she had, the Most High said, name that child Lo Rukama. Lo Rukama. And the last one called Lo Ami. These are the 3 children. Okay? And I'm going to show you what their names mean, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them so you can understand what does this have to do with salvation? What does this have to do with whoring? Yes, Mashal.
I would like to take a guess at the Lo Rukama.
Go ahead.
Okay, Lo meaning no, Ru having to be associated with the spirit, no spirit in them.
That's interesting. That's a great breakdown. That's a great analysis of that. Because Ruach means breath and spirit, and Lo means never, right? And Ma, of course, is what is it, right? But Rukama, you have to wait for the definition, but you're close. You're very, very close. Okay. So Yisrael, Lo Rukama, and Lo Ami. So anytime you read Hosea now, you're going to be able to understand what you're reading. So he went and he married Gomer. So we're talking about marriage. We're talking about a covenant, correct? Are you guys following me? Let's don't get lost in the words. Okay. Understand what he's saying. Most High said, go marry this woman. He married a whore named Gomer. She's a daughter of Divlaim. Okay. And she conceived and bore him a son. Italicized, bore him a son. Yahweh said to him, call him Yisrael, because only a short time I will punish. That's the pokade, meaning I'm going to bring to account the house of Yehu for having shed blood at Yisrael. I will put an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. So salvation is the man who's going in to be married to a whore that conceived to him a son. This son is not only by his name, but is also a location, which you're going to find out in just a moment. Okay. So the Most High is using the name, and the name represents something, right? Which we're going to find out what that name means. And then we're also going to find out it can mean a person and also means a location. But I wanted to point out the fact that she conceived and bore him a son. So this first son here is Hosea's. I just use Hosea so no one get confused. Hosea. This is his son. Okay? This is his son. This is the one, and the son is a seed. So somebody tell me, what did Hosea do, or Hosea, what did he do in order to have his son? If the son is a seed, what did he do?
He did what the Most High instructed him, right?
Yes. See, he scattered seed into the land. Who's the land? Who is he married to?
Gomer.
Gomer. Remember the Most High said, go marry a whore because his land is a whoring? Right? And everything that's in the land is whoring. The son is the seed of him. The reason why he wanted to marry her is because he wanted him to spread his seed, to scatter his seed in her. So this son would come, right? Right? And he's having him do this. So in this case, Hosea is representing the Most High. You understand? He's a representation, not the Most High as a man. He's using his life as an example of what the Most High has done. So the Most High has planted a seed in a land, right? That this woman is bore to him. Got it? Keep that in mind. Again, Yisrael is two cities. There's two cities, one in northern Israel and one in Judah. There are two individuals, okay? Two individuals by the name of Yisrael and two cities, okay? And then, of course, the name actually means El scatters. Because that Zerah that you have right here, everyone, is the word for seed. Because that's what Yah is going to scatter. The Zerah. And that will be Z-E-R, in my slowness, R-A-H. Zerah. Zerah is seed. And the Yod right here, Ye, is he. So he scatters. Who? El, the mighty one. He scatters. So when he says, I'm going to scatter and I'm going to put an end to the northern kingdom, he's going to do it by scattering them. Go ahead, Michelle.
There's a very similar sound between Zara and Zerah.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So Yah scatters. So what he's saying is, this son that you're going to have, he's representative of what I'm going to do. I'm going to destroy the kingdom of Israel. So Yah uses this man, his whole family, his wife, and everything to tell what he's going to do. Just like he says in all of his other prophets, hey, go do this and be this to them. Do this to them. Be the sign of this. You and your sons are the signs that I'm having. I need you to do this, Jeremiah. I need you to do this, Ezekiel. I need you to do this. I need you to show them this. Okay? Moshe, I need you to do this. I need you to say this to Pharaoh. Okay? So that's what this means. Okay? And remember, this is about idolatry. Okay? So the nation of Israel, the northern kingdom, got scattered because of their idolatrous practices. Okay. She conceived again and bore a daughter. Yahweh said to him, name her Lo Rukama, unpity, for I will no longer have pity on the house of Israel. By no means will I forgive them. Our Elohim is a forgiving Elohim, but also, too, he can change his mind. And he says, I'm not going to forgive them. There's conditions. So forgiveness can happen, and sometimes it can't. All because he says that he's a forgiving Elohim doesn't mean you're going to get it. All because he says he's a merciful Elohim doesn't mean you're going to get it. All because he says he's a compassionate Elohim doesn't mean that you're entitled to it. So we're seeing something different about our Elohim. She conceived again and bore a daughter. She didn't bore a daughter to him, like it said that she bore him a son to him. She conceived again and bore a daughter. The reason why this child, the Most High is saying, name her Lo Ruchama, is because it's not Hoshea's daughter. This is a daughter that was conceived out of idolatry and adultery. So the Most High is letting Hosea know that this is not your daughter. You know, like today, how we have, conception and people are trying to figure out if they're their kids and they find out years later it was never their child. This is one of the benefits, I guess, of being a prophet. The Most High said, name her Lo Ruchama. I will not long have any pity on this, right? And I won't forgive. So the man, when he found out that this is not his daughter, she's a daughter of adultery. Okay? The language proves it. And the Most High says it. Okay? I'm no longer having pity. That's it. No mercy. Okay? So let's talk about Rukama. Lo means never. Rukama sounds like Ruach, but it's Rukama. No mercy, no tenderness, no compassion. Okay? So what is it talking about is this, is that Rukama, I don't have it in here about what the actual root is, Rukama. If I was to take the lo out of it, because that's part of her name, if I would look at Rukama, Rukama means mercy. Take the lo out. Lo means no, everyone, in Hebrew. Lo, no, easy to remember. L and N are right next to each other in your alphabet. So lo means no in Hebrew. So now he's saying, I'm not going to give no mercy, no tenderness, no compassion. This word Rukama has to do with the womb. That's what mercy is. That's what compassion is. That's what tenderness is. And it has to do with a baby. It has to be that which is in the womb. It has to be that which is able to be fertile. Okay. So in the book of Hosea, he tells the land that, guess what? I'm not going to put any more seed in you. I'm not doing no vegetables, no fruits, no nothing. Because you're offering everything that I give you, no linen, no nothing. No flax, no olive oil, nothing. Why? Because you are involved in idolatry, which is adultery. And when you're involved in adultery, hear me, you and I are not having sex. It's you found in chapter number 3, I believe, of Hosea. So what we're getting here is the picture that now that the man realized that this child is not his, Rukama, Lo Rukama, is not mine. So now the man, Hosea, salvation, he's upset, he's mad, and he's not having intercourse with the woman no more. That's it. Not having no more sex. Now that I know that this child is not mine, you're getting, handled by other men. And not just one, a whole bunch of men. I'm all over the place. So who knows who this daughter belongs to? Okay. So the Most High referenced this and uses this man and brings this hardship in his life to teach him a lesson about Yisrael. What a way to learn about your people. You understand? So no more intercourse with you. There's no more mercy for you. There's no compassion. So the relationship between them changed. And the Most High is saying that. Okay. I could read an excerpt out of the book of Hosea that says everything he's going to do. He said, I'm going to make the land desolate. There's going to be no more seed, no more rain, No more fertilization. I'm not giving you nothing no more. Because everything that I give you, you take it and give everyone else the credit for. Okay. So that's what lo little comma means. Okay. You're not getting it. Here's something I want you and I to understand. When the Most High talks about giving mercy and showing a little comma, he's saying, I will show favor to whom I will, and I will display mercy to whom I will. That word mercy there is little comma. I'll give whoever I want to give it to. I'll give mercy, tenderness, and compassion to those I want to give it to. You and I cannot make this, something that he has to do. So this is for all of us to understand. The Most High doesn't want to show Akika any favor. He doesn't have to. I cannot force the Most High to do something that he's not going to do. I can beg, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get it. I can cry, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get it. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. So that leaves you kind of in limbo, right? Like, okay, well, what? Because we are looking for certainty. We're looking for things that we can depend on. We're looking for absolutes. Okay. What I'm telling you is that the Most High can give it and show it to whoever he wants to. And he doesn't have to give it to anyone that we want him to. In your distress, when all these things have come upon you, this is found in the book of Davarim, which has to do with your word Devar, which has to do with words, which has to be spoken, which has to do with order. Yah has given us his words in order to bring order to our lives. So when all these things have come upon you in the Akharith Hamayim, meaning the last days, the final days, you will return to Yahweh. I put in their parentheses there about testify as a witness, because in Hebrew is the word ad, meaning not you're just going to return to me, you're actually going to do something. You're going to testify as a witness to what? To what Yahweh has said. See? You're going to testify to the Shabbat. You're going to testify to the fact that I told you about the diet. You're going to testify to the fact that your ancestors hated me. You're going to testify that they went against me. You're going to testify that they loathe my laws, my statutes, and my regulations. You're going to testify that I'm the one who sent you into the nations. You're going to testify that I'm the one who cursed you. You're going to testify that I'm the one who gave you the diseases. You're going to testify that you don't have an offering to bring to me. You're going to testify that I'm mad and angry, disappointed. You're going to testify. You're not going to ignore what happened. You're not going to play dumb and act like you don't know what happened. I don't know. I was born in 1970. I don't know. I was in 86. I don't know. That was my father's and him. I don't have nothing to do with that. No. We're going to testify. We're going to listen to what Yahweh says. That's what we're going to do. That's your testimony. That's what you're supposed to be saying. That's what you're supposed to be looking at. The eye, ad, the ayin, to look at with your eyes. Look at the door. The door of what? The door of the tabernacle, the temple. You and I are literally going in to the tabernacle because we're going in with Moshe. You're getting intimate details about what was spoken to Moshe. He did not speak to Christ. He did not talk to Paul, Peter, James, John, Barnabas, Timotheus, none of those people. You will not open your mouth to testify to nobody else. And no other scroll are you giving testimony to except for what the Most High has said. You have to verify what the Most High said. If it doesn't line up what he said, then you don't listen to it. You're not going to be able to blame your pastor, your bishop, your rabbi, your friend, your mother, your father, nobody. You're going to listen to what Yahweh says. You're going to obey what Yahweh says. Why? For Yahweh Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He's Rakum. He's in Rakum El. Hallelujah. He will not fail you, destroy you, or forget the covenant with your ancestors, which he swore to them. Why? Because he's Rakum, because he's merciful, because he's tender, and he's compassionate. But you and I got to do our part. And because you're going to listen, because you're going to testify, because you're going to live the way he said, because you're going to humble yourself to do this, then that's when you're going to get the mercy. And that's when you're going to get the compassion and the tenderness from Yah. He promises, I'm not going to fail you. I'm not going to destroy you. Why? Because you decided to listen to me. Why? Because you decided to turn back to the Torah. Why? Because you decided to honor the Shabbat. You decided to guard it. If I put you over a post in the army, you're supposed to guard what I put in front of you. I remember being in the army when I was on a post and I couldn't go to sleep for 24 hours. I had to guard the ammunition stockpile. If they caught you sleep, it's over for you. Article 15. You're getting demoted and you're getting money put out of your check, and possibly, depending on how serious the infraction was, you could get discharged from your service and your duty. So if they're not playing, then why do you think the Most High, the creator of heavens and earth, is playing? He's not playing. He's not going to forget, and he's not going to fail you. We failed Yah. You got to acknowledge that. You got to testify to that. I know it's not comfortable, but it's the truth. Our ancestors forgot about the covenant. You got to testify to the truth, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how shameful it is. I mean, I got to put myself out there. I don't tell you about my personal business because I want to, make myself look, oh, poor me. No. Show that God's word is true. There's going to be people that are going to walk away from the Most High. And if they're the example, then they're an example. If this man had to marry a whore in front of the whole community and live in this manner because the Most High told him to, then I surely can share some things about my life, some intimate details to let you know that what the Most High is saying is true. I'm not second guessing what's going on. I know what's going on. And after weaning Lo Ruchama, she conceived and bore a son. Not to him, because he's no longer intimate with her. She had another son. Yahweh said, name him. Lo Ami, not my people, because that wasn't his son. Because you are not my people, and I will not be your Elohim. Why? Because they're children born out of idolatry. Wow, Kika, you sound like there ain't no hope. No, there is hope, people. But call a spade a spade. If the Most High says, you're not my people, you're not my people. If I'm going to destroy the kingdom, I'm going to destroy it. Did he destroy it? Yes, he did. So if he destroyed, he said, I'm going to destroy them, and they're no longer exist as the kingdom among the nations, then all of a sudden now we go around and tell people, we're his people. He says, you're not my people. Not at this moment. Because you're out of idolatry. You're out of adultery. I don't even know you. I will not be your Elohim. You just read to us he's going to compassion. Yes, on those who return to the Most High. We have to take this serious. Lo Ami, not my people. You're disconnected. You're strangers to me. That's what the Most High is letting us know. When he says he's not my people, he's not saying like you will never be his people again. He's saying right now you're disconnected from me. When the children of Israel in the wilderness, they were his people. They were organized. They had order. They had structure. They had banners. They had leaders. They had a priesthood. They had the Ark of the Covenant with the Most High. They had the testimonies of the Most High. They had togetherness. They were organized. You understand me? So when he says that you're not my people, he means it. You're disconnected. There is no togetherness with you. Because when Yah is with us, we're together. We all say the same thing. We all do the same thing. We all show up at the same time. How is it that we go around and say that we're his people and we're disconnected from the Most High? He tells us that your behaviors, which you've done, I got to wash you and make you clean because you're strangers. You've been called on the name of other Elohims, and you think that all of a sudden, that's in the past. We could just walk up and all of a sudden we call on the Most High's name and all is good now. We have nothing to be ashamed of. No, we got a lot to be ashamed of. Our ancestors did not do us any good. They introduced us to these people because that's who they wanted. They wanted to be whores. Because they wanted to forget the Most High. Now, I will uncover her shame while her lovers watch, and no one will save her from me. That word right there, save, means snatch her away from me. Yah is going to personally humiliate, just like Hosea publicly humiliated his wife. He wasn't a putz. He wasn't a mark. He wasn't a simp. He wasn't sitting around talking about, okay, I married this woman. And yeah, she's a whore. So guess what? She gets to do what she wants to do. She's out there hoeing. When she comes back from all her whoring, she's going to come back and I'm going to make love to her and we're going to have a good time. We're going to go and eat together and act like nothing's going on. I'm going to sleep with her no matter what it was. She slept with 15 different men today, but she's going to come and lay with me and I'm going to pretend like nothing happened. You really think that that was the case? Is that what we're anticipating from our Elohim? To say that he's going to allow us to be involved with all these different gods, all these different practices, all these different nations, all this different filth, and all of a sudden he's going to be intimate with us? As if there's nothing going on because you and I are in a covenant with him? Because we're married, so it allows us to do what we want and think there's no consequences for our actions? We got to be out of our minds. No one. That word no one right there, they got no one and no one. In Hebrew, it says an ish, another man. There won't be nobody that can deliver her from me and out of my hand. No one can snatch her from out of my hand. There won't be no Christ, no Buddha, no Allah, nobody that can stop from what I'm going to do to you. Yah says, I'm going to publicly shame you. And here's how he's going to do it for us. I will end her happiness, her festivals, Rosh Chodesh, Shabbats, and her designated times, all of them. Why? Because Yah's going to get rid of everything that the earth was bringing forth to make it desolate, so there won't be no happiness. There won't be any festivals. There won't be any celebrating. There won't be a blowing of the shofar. There won't be a gathering of eating nothing. Because of your idolatry. So, you'll learn from your past. If you continue to do what we've done in the past, that will be your future. Most High is letting us know that I've ended all that for you. That's how he's put us to shame. Just like he made that land naked, and Hosea made his wife naked, and he stripped her, and he got so fed up, he said, it's over. It's over. I'm throwing this whore out of my house. And that's what the Most High did to us as a people. You're getting out of the land. There won't be nobody that can deliver from my hand. Remember, this is his wife. Then the word of Yahweh came to me. This is in Jeremiah. A little detour to kind of give you an idea what's going on. House of Israel, can't I deal with you as the potter deals with his clay? Because the Most High told Jeremiah, go to the potter's house. When you get there, I'll talk to you. I'll tell you what's going on. Again, talking about the house of Israel, says Yahweh. Look, you, house of Israel, are the same in my hand as the clay in the potter's hand. Why is this important? This is important for us to understand that you and I can be made into anything that Yahweh wants to make us into. When the Most High told Hosea to go get that whore, he knew what he was getting. Oh, you better hear what he's about to tell us. Just as the Most High told Hosea, go marry a whore, he's telling us, I know what I got. You didn't become a whore out of nowhere. I knew you were a whore when I chose you. He knew that we would forsake him. He knew that we would be idolatrous. He knew that we would turn away from him. He knew we would forget him. He knew we would be with all these different gods. In spite of all that, you're still the clay in his hands. Yah can turn us to whatever he wants. He knows what he's working with. At any one time, I might speak about uprooting, breaking down, and destroying a nation or kingdom. But if that nation turns from their evil, which prompted me to speak against it, then I relent concerning the disaster I had planned to inflict on it. About a nation or a kingdom? Similarly, at another time, I might speak about building and planting a nation or a kingdom. But if it behaves wickedly from my perspective and doesn't listen to what I say, then I change my mind and don't do the good I said I would do that would have helped it. Yes, Mashal.
I was going to say Nineveh is a prime example.
Absolutely. You see? So what we find here is that the Most High can change his mind. In context, he could take a piece of clay and say, I'm going to make this with it. Now, I decided, no, I'm not going to do it. I want it to be this way. I want to build it. I can plant it. The Most High is over everything. So everything that you see that's going on in the world right now, you think it's just happen circumstance. No, it's not happenstance. The Most High is in charge. The war that's going on right now between Iran and Israel is by Yah's hand. He can tear it down. You mad because the United States of America is on the trajectory that they are? The Most High put Trump in office. He sets up kingdoms and tears them down. He puts the bases of men over the kingdoms. Ain't nobody can say a word to the Most High. That's his doing. So we're acting like we're giving some input and we're making a difference. Ain't nobody doing nothing over the Most High. You understand? But you're the clay. That's the point. He knows what he's working with. He could change his mind about us. Bringing me to the next slide called the word lanu. It's one of the words I want you to learn. Lanu. The L, you see, it's just a sound. L. You know how to make that sound. And then new. Like a new car. Lanu. And lanu means to lead us, for us, or to us. Okay, you see the lamed means to lead or to learn or to teach or for or to. The shepherd staff, to lead you somewhere, to take you somewhere, to show you something for you. I'll be a shepherd for you. I'll lead you. I'll teach you. I'll guide you. And nu means us. The continuation of the seed. As you can see, the nun is the seed. To lead the seed, to bring it where I need to bring it so I can scatter where I want. I can put you wherever I want. I can scatter you wherever I want. I can take you from where I want. I'm in charge. Lanu. This is for us. The words that we're about to hear are for us. This is for us. Tehillim. When I acknowledge my sin to you, when I stopped concealing my guilt and said, I will confess my offenses to Yahweh, then you forgave the guilt of my sin. This is what Dawid said. See? So again, the acknowledgement of our sins, he said, I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to play dumb like that it doesn't exist. King David knew this, and he's sharing with us on what we need to understand. That's why it's the new. He's sharing with us, to us, and for us. This is for us. The Psalms are for you. They weren't just for Dawid. They just weren't for the Lavaim. They're for you. They're la nu. They're for us. You understand? So when I stop concealing my guilt and I confess my offenses, then you forgave the guilt of my sin. Why is this important? Why does he want to do that? Because only the faithful are going to acknowledge their sins. Only the faithful to Yah are going to do that. If you want Yah's mercy, you should tell Yah about your sins. Okay? This next slide says that he was going to do something. When Dawid was having his this psalm and he was writing it, out of nowhere, he gives this quotation from the Most High. The Most High spoke to him. And the Most High said, I will enlighten and teach you in this way that you are to go. And I will give you counsel. My eyes will be watching you. Okay? I'm going to take a moment to say what the Most High said, not in English, but in Hebrew. Okay? So that first word that we have in Hebrew right here is enlighten, but that's a light word for it. This word right here is I'm going to make you intelligent. That's that askilaka. Okay, the askilaka is I'm going to make you intelligent. So when you and I confess and acknowledge our sin and we're not playing dumb and acting like we don't know what's going on, we're the whore that's, been around with a whole bunch of idolatrous men and we've been idol worshiping, and all of a sudden we're not acting like we have done anything, then you and I are still dumb. And now he's saying, guess what? If you confess to me, this opens you up for you to learn. And when I teach you and I'm enlightening you and I'm making you bright and intelligent, because that's what Yah wants to do. The word right there is this is I, and this sakal right here, sakal again means to be prudent. So I'm going to enlighten you, make you wise. I'm going to make you intelligent. You, that's the ka right there. I'm going to do that for you, individual. It's not a group thing, but it's for you, okay? And that word, and right there is right there, the wa, and then the oraka. The oraka, as you can notice, oraka, toraka. So when the oraka means Torah. So the toraka or the oraka to you. To who? You, the individual. This is you. Okay? In the what? In the Badureka. In this way. Okay? I'm going to show you which way you should go. The Most High is telling you, I'm going to lead you. I'm going to lead you in the way you should go. And then not only going to do that, but I'm also going to give you counsel to you. I'm going to let that be upon you. And my eyes, his eyes. Most High is not a human being, but he does have eyes. Our eyes are representations of what an eye is to see everything, to understand, to have knowledge. Most High is going to take knowledge of us. He's going to see us. He's going to be watching us. Why? Because that's what someone does when they put that staff on you. This one right here. This is the reason why it's for us. It's because that's what a shepherd does. They lead us, they guide us. It's for you. It's for Lanu. It's for us. See? So out of us, there's individuals that he's saying, look, this is what I want for you. I want this for you. I want you to be askilika. I want you to be prudent. I want you to be intelligent. I want you to have instruction. I want to counsel you. That's part of being associated with Yah. That's part of coming back to the Most High. This is the process. But it begins with our confession and our acknowledgement of our sins and our transgressions against the Most High. It's not for smoking a pack of cigarettes or drinking some wine coolers or some beer and smoking some weed. He's talking about the things that we have done to him. Yahweh looks out from heaven and sees every human being. From the place where he lives, he watches everyone living on earth. He who fashioned the hearts of them all and understands all that they do. Yah knows who we are. He knows our minds. He fashioned it like the clay. He knows what the mind is. He knows what the capacity is. He knows what the levels of intelligence. He knows how far it can go. He knows what the limitations are. He knows how it works. I have a neurological condition. I asked the doctor, like, what is this? I don't know. What should I do? I don't know. But you're a doctor. You don't understand the neurological system? No, no one does. Yah does. Yah knows about everything. He made it all. He fashioned it. You understand? But Yahweh's eyes watch over those who fear him. Now, remember I told you that sometimes we're thinking that, Yah's mercy is going to be for a certain group of people, right? We're thinking probably everybody because his eyes are over all human beings? No, his eyes are watching over those who fear him. Those who are taking the instruction, those who are going to listen to him. Those fearing Yahweh means waiting for Yah. Over those who wait for his grace, for his what? Compassion. That's what you and I are waiting for. We're not waiting for some man to come, a hippie on a stick. We're not waiting for somebody with some holes in his hands and his feet, who took all his clothes off and got naked and bathed everybody, was anointed by a whore. Remember? New Testament, he was anointed by a prostitute, a whore. You see? To rescue them from death and to keep them alive and fed. And we are waiting for Yahweh. Why? For he's our help and he's our shield. He's our reigning. He's the one who's looking for he's our support system. He's your protector. That's the one. Letting us know that things are coming. And Yah is going to be the one who's going to rescue us from our death and our famine. He's going to be the one who's going to show his mercy and compassion to those who fear him. It's not for everybody. Mercy is not for everybody. Sure, it wasn't for the people that, were in the land at that time. So we see that Hosea is about salvation, because that's what his name means. And salvation is about sowing the seed. Salvation is about having compassion on the people that are called his people. See? So he says, lo, lo on me. I'm mad at you. You're adulterous. You're this, you're that, you're that. You're idolatrous. You guys are doing this, you're doing that. I don't even know who these people are. You got to go. So I'm going to scatter you. I had nothing to do with you now. But now we see that the prospect of the Most High giving us salvation, that means that we are now going to be together with the Most High. It means now that the Most High, instead of, when he sold us into all these different lands, he says, I'm going to gather you now. And I'm going to show you compassion. Okay. And now, instead of me sowing you among the nations, I'm going to sow you in your own land, because that's where you belong. And because that's where you're going to be fruitful, and that's where you're going to thrive. That's where you're going to be abundant. That's where you're going to increase. Because when you're in the lands of your enemies, I'm going to diminish your numbers. You said when you get there, you can read Deuteronomy chapter number 4. You can read, chapter number 5. I want to decrease your numbers while you're among your enemies. You're going to be few in number. But while you're coming back, I'm going to increase your numbers. Just the opposite. Now, this is so important, because now we're talking about the salvation element, right? We're seeing the salvation of Yah. This is the beginning of the process of salvation. Listen to me. But now I'm going to woo her. This is in Hosea chapter number 2. Same chapter that said, hey, you're a bunch of whores and blah, 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 blah. I don't know you. You're not my people. All that. And all of a sudden you see a change. But now I'm going to woo her. I will bring her out to the desert, the Midbar, which was your Torah portion. But Midbar, I'm going to bring her back to the desert, and I will speak. That means I'm going to arrange her again. I want to speak to her heart. I want to arrange her mind. That's what he's going to do when you and I are becoming his people again. You see? So going to your Torah portion, the arrangement of the tribes of Israel, putting them in their order, lets you know that Yah is their Elohim. He handpicked those people. He said, this person needs to be over Judah. This person needs to be over Reuben. This person needs to be over Shimon. He gave them all by name. They were handpicked. The Levites were chosen for the service unto Aaron on behalf of the children of Israel to do his bidding. Handpicked by name. So this idea of him going to woo her, I said, okay, what does that mean? Yah is saying, I'm going to open her up. The same woo right there is the same woo that you find in your Torah that talks about how a young man goes and gets to a woman and he convinces her, right? He opens her up. He starts talking to her, before his intention, when he lays down with her out in the garden, and then he got to go back and pay for her, after he laid down with her because he just couldn't help himself, just like, when you and I were getting wooed by the nations, because that's what happened to us too, right? So we see there's some type of competition going on between the nations and Yah. They want us to follow their ways. They're wooing us. They're opening us up. That word right there is patah, and patah means open. So the Most High is saying, look, I'm gonna open her up to me again. I'm gonna speak some way to her now. Some text said I'm going to speak very gently to her. But what it is the Hebraic understanding is I'm going to arrange her. It's not this abstract, I'm just going to talk so sweet to her. No, I'm going to bring some order back to her. I'm going to order her mind, not her heart, her mind. See, so we need to understand that the first part is I'm going to open you up to me. That's what I'm going to do. So after this big fight, this big argument, you got put out. Now this is my wife. So I'm going to talk to her in a certain way now. I want her to come back to me. You see? So after all the people that she's been with, all these different guys that she's been with, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to open her up to me and let her know that I love her. I'm just looking for her to say something. And what I'm looking for her to say is that she's sorry. That she doesn't want to be a whore any longer. She doesn't want to be an idolater anymore. She doesn't want to be adulteress anymore. She doesn't want to open her legs for every man that's passing by. She doesn't want to lay down on the mountains no more. She doesn't want to go from house to house. She doesn't want to sneak anymore. She doesn't want to be shameful. She's tired of being filthy. She's tired of listening to other men putting sweet nothings in her ear. She wants to listen to her Elohim. I'll bring her out to the desert, because that's where Yah speaks to us. He's not going to talk to us here in the nations in terms of as a people. He's going to bring us back out to the place of order to get our minds right. I will betroth her. I will betroth you, to me forever. This is Yah's promise to us. Yes, I will betroth you to me in righteousness. That's tzedek. That's in that pursuit of what is right. And in judgment, that's mishpat. There's no way for us to come back to him without righteousness and judgment. And in grace and in compassion, in the continuance of our families, and in the tenderness of Yah's mercy, I will betroth you to me in faithfulness, and you will know Yahweh. See, the knowing of Yahweh is to have that intimacy again with the Most High. Do you see? This betrothal right here is saying, I'm going to request you to be with me. After Yah talks to us and he woos us back to him and he brings us out there to the wilderness like he did with our ancestors, right? He's bringing us out there so he could talk to us, right? When he brings us out there, he's getting our minds right. After he does, he's going to do what he did to them. He's going to present again the marriage contract or offer and said, do you want to be in this with me? And he's asking us, he's requesting our willingness. And those of us who have feared Yah and have been walking in his ways and have listened to what he said and returned to him and acknowledged and confessed that, yes, we've gone against you. We are the children of idolatry. We are. We've been whores. And we're sorry. And we don't want to do it anymore. We want to be faithful to you. We want to be faithful to your covenant. We want to be faithful to your Shabbats. We want to be faithful to you. He says, then you will know Yahweh. The number of the people of Israel will be like that of the sands of the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. Instead of being told, you are not my people, they shall be called children of the living El. Do you hear what he just said? That's mercy. That's compassion. This is the picture of the mercy and the compassion. It's not what you were sold in your church on Sundays about someone dying for your sins, that you can go ahead and continue to sin. It's not for somebody to told you the Sabbath is done away with and he's the Lord of the Sabbath. It's not for that person who claims that they were God and claimed to be a man and cried and got beat and got buried and who got hungry. That's not your Elohim. Wake up, Jacob. He says here, where you were told that you're not my people, they shall be called the children of the living El. Do you hear me? So we are no longer called Loami. We're no longer called Rukami or La Rukama. We're called the ones of Rukam. Because Yahweh has a desire. His desire is for reconciliation. That's Yah's desire with his people. And the reconciliation, as you found in the book of Hosea, is to be in covenant so we can go back to being in order with our Elohim. I need you to guard the Torah. I need you to guard the words of the prophets and to guard your meditation. This is what you're supposed to guard this week. It's not just keeping, it's guarding. It's not just reading, it's guarding. You understand? This is what we need to guard because we are Yahweh's people. We are. You could say that, but you better understand what it means. It means that you're going to be reconnected because you're being a witness. You're going to be reconnected. You're going to be reconciled back to Yah in the wilderness. And you're going to have to give your approval of the request of you being his people. That's what he's saying. He's not just saying you're my people because all of a sudden we just say, okay, we're your people. No, we have to make that known to him in truthfulness and faithfulness. I want to share one last thing with you before we go into our cahoots. It's very important. Very, very important. All my stuff coming up. Department of Veterans Affairs. Okay. Here you go. Can you see my screen? Yes? Can you see it?
Yes.
Good. All right, good. So look, we're on Sefaria.com or .org, excuse me. Book of Jubilees, chapter number 2. The Book of Jubilees, everyone, I believe is a valid text. The reason why it's valid is simply because it has been hidden from the masses. They don't want you to know this. Okay. I've read through it several times. It's what they would call the Ethiopian Ge'ez text manuscript, which they don't give any credit to, right? They didn't canonize this in the scripture. The reason why they didn't canonize it is simply because of what's written. So here today, I want to read something to you and I want you to meditate upon it today because today's the Shabbat. I'll begin in verse number 27. Some different versions may begin in chapter number 2, verse number 18, but here in this particular version here, it starts in verse number 27. It says, and he finished all his work on the 6th day, all that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the seas and in the abyss, meaning the deep and in the light and in the darkness and in everything. Okay. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification. I want to stop right here to tell you that there is no word angel in Hebrew. It's called a malakeh. And a malakeh is the malakim, which you would find right above your text right here. And a malakim or a malakeh are the ones who are going to be the messengers. Okay. Like the Malachi is called a messenger, right? So the malakeh are the messengers, okay, which has to do with, like a king is a melech. This is a malakeh. The one who has the staff in their hand, which you and I are the messengers on the earth. The one who's talking in this text is one of the malachims. He's telling Moshe what it is that has to do with the Sabbath. This is why Moshe was able to write out Genesis chapter, the creation's narrative and all that. He got all that information from one of these messengers from the Most High. Okay, so he was able to write this. So there's malakeh, there's malakim of the presence, and there's malakim of sanctification. So they are the ones, right? They're doing work too. So the Most High did work. The malakeh, the malakim, they do work for 6 days as well, but they also have a Sabbath day. Okay, the Sabbath day is their day too. It's a great sign for them. So it's not just human beings, okay? More specifically, Israel. He says these two great classes, talking about the Malachs of his presence and the Malachs of sanctification, his witnesses, right? He has bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. So they keep the Sabbath as well. Okay. So what we find is that what we're doing is connected to not only the heavens and the earth, but it's connected to the individual classes, the two great classes of Malachims that are in the heavens and the earth. They also have to keep the Sabbath. And the Most High himself keeps the Sabbath because he's the one who originated it. He said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Sabbath day. That's what the Malachim is telling Moshe. That I separated a people for me to do this along with you guys. I will sanctify them unto myself as my people. As we found out that if we're Yahweh's people, we do what he says, he's with us, and he separated us from all other peoples. Well, while you're scattered, you're not able to claim that you're being sanctified as being his people, because his people are sanctified and they're set apart from all other peoples. And that will not happen until we get back out to the wilderness. I will bless them and as I have sanctified the Sabbath and do sanctify it unto myself, even so I shall bless them, and they will be my people, and I shall be their God. Going back to what we learned today, I have chosen the seed of Jacob. Going back to what we learned today about the seed. So if we're dealing with whoredom and we're dealing with idolatry and we're dealing with adultery, you're cutting off the seed. So that family of Jacob, the seed of Jacob, the children of Jacob, from amongst all that I have seen. So the Most High looked at all creation, all humanity, and said, I want this family. This is the family that I want. This is who I want. And have written him down as my firstborn son, which you find in Exodus chapter number 4, verse number 22, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day that he did in Exodus chapter number 16, when he brought us out into the wilderness, that they may keep my Shabbat thereon from all work. That word right there, again, is not only talking about keeping it, but also guarding it. Okay. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep the Sabbath with us, meaning the Malachim, on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who had created all things. Okay. As he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep the Sabbath together with us. See? So that is the mandate for us as a people. You are a set apart people. You've been chosen and selected with the Malachim to keep this day, to guard it. And that's what you're doing today. See? So I'm not here to tear us down. Not. I'm here to bring everything to our attention. That this is what we are, and this is what we're supposed to do. From all the peoples on the face of the earth, you have been chosen. And so the wooing process has begun. Yah is opening you up to the idea of you being his people. He's opening you up to the idea that things are going to change in your households. He's opening you up to the idea that, guess what? You do have to go through a process. If you read in chapter number 3 of Hosea, you'll find out that there was another continuation of the process to say that, hey, at this in particular moment, I'm not having intercourse with you. For us, intercourse with Yah is to be Yah, to be in our presence, to go to the altar. The altar in that case is the bed. That's where the intimacy is. That's where you draw near to the Most High. That's where you become intimate and close to him. This is the reason why he said, when you come to me, you got to be perfect. You cannot be involved in any idolatrous practices. You're not going to lay in bed with me after you've been laying with your idols. You're not going to call on my name, because you find in your Torah, in your Haftarah, that he said, I'm going to remove all the names out of your mouth that you've been talking. So all your boyfriends that you've been talking about and mention everything they did for you, and what they did and how they saved you and how they helped you and got you your job and helped your family and healed your son and daughter, all that's coming out your mouth. And then you'll never say those names ever again. And I have a slide for it, but it's in there. Chapter number 2 of the book of Hosea. That's going to happen. See? So no more boyfriends. That's not going to be mentioned. This is the reason why he said, don't mention it to me. Don't ever mention another name before me. Feel me? So this is where we are, everyone. Any questions or concerns or contributions before we go into our Kahoots game, which is pretty cool? Any contributions? Any remarks? Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, man, man, I have never seen or heard uh how, how you broke down the story of Hosea, man. It really brought a whole new perspective to me, bro. And I appreciate that, man.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Me either. I've never had the opportunity. I was being religious prior to all this, and I never really broke it down and understood what he's talking about. So, oh, that's little Kami. Oh, that's low Ami. Okay, well, we're not his people right now. Well, why not? Because we're involved in idolatry. And the connection is that I'm going to bring order to you because you guys are an idolatrous people. So don't think that you guys can do everything you've done and I'm just going to accept you back. It doesn't happen like that. So the New Testament goes right out the window. But I see why people want the New Testament. I actually understand it. They don't want to be held accountable and they don't want to have to bring this to who wants to say they were a whore? Hey, who wants to say that? Who wants to say they've been involved in cutting off the seed? Who wants that? We don't want that. That's it. That's humiliating and shameful. But Yah says, I'm gonna put you in my hand. I'm gonna take all your clothes off, and I'm gonna put you in front of everybody and show you your shame. You're gonna be butt naked out in front of the world, and I'm gonna show you what happens when you do what you did to me. Come here. And we'll snatch you up. Then after he throws us out of his house and he puts us among our nation, say, now let's see what good they've done for you. Now call them now. Where's your boyfriend at now? Where's your boyfriend? Where's the people that you love so much? Where are they? Where are they? Where are your lovers? Where's Christ? How's he helped you? Where's he at? Where's he been for the last 2,000 years? Huh? Where are they? Show me. Tell me. Show me something. But you see that that's not the case. We're in this and we have to make the changes. And we will. This is what it is. So get ready to go back to the wilderness because that's where we're going. But be prepared before you get there. Have a made up mind that, you know what, I want to be married to Yah. I want to be back in this relationship. I'm done. I'm going to listen to what he says. That's my husband. I'm going to follow the instructions, and that's it. I don't want no arguments. I don't want nothing. I'm going to do what he says. That's it. Because he loves me, has my best interest at heart. That's it. So this is a beautiful story, everyone. It is really, truly a beautiful story. It's a beautiful love story. It has a lot of bad things that happen within the story, but we can see that the Most High is merciful, he's tender, and he's loving, and he's caring, and he wants things to get better for us. But it's all going to be based upon our choices and our decision to make that happen. I need some contestants today. As soon as this comes up, let's get a code going. There you go. Get ready to join. It's loading the pin. Close all these other windows out so we wouldn't have no feedback and all that kind of stuff. Let's get some contestants 2680351. Let's have some fun. We're right on time, everyone. Boom, 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 boom. Thank everyone for your participation in advance. Here we go. Kills in the house. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Jude's in the house. Welcome back, Jude.
Give me like 2 minutes. I'm trying to get on.
All right, I got my contestants. Yoshi's in the house. Let's go, Dawid. Samaja, Kobe, Eve, Jude, Kel. It's on. Yeah, we're gonna have a good one today. See, sister, you got our glasses back on. Everybody's in uniform. Michelle's in the house. That's not you, Michelle. You know you got to change that. You can't be wearing no flowers on your head. Kel got the crown. Uh-oh. Everybody got the crown. I got a panda with a crown. I got two pandas. Yoshi's back in. All right. Samaja, yeah. What happened? What happened to Kel? I'll wait for Kel to come back on, you guys, before we get going.
I don't know what happened. It kicked me out.
I don't know. Where are you at?
Let me come back on.
Yeah. All right. See Kel. Wait for Kel to get back in. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started. One. Thank you for your patience. Couple questions, real easy. Bamidbar. Bamidbar. Ooh. What does Bamidbar mean? Hmm. Hmm. Samya. Oh, that's cute. Okay, there you go. There's Michelle trying to take the lead, 2 of 13. Let's go. Who was Moses' father? What's the name of his father? This is all beneficial to you guys. You got to know who your family is, who your family members are, historical. Somebody come up and tell you Moses' daddy was named Abel, you'd be like, no, that ain't right. Well, oh, I already gave you a clue. Oh my goodness. Didn't realize it. Okay, here you go. All right. Michelle is still in the lead. 18. Kelvin, let's go. Come on. 13, 3 of 13. Which tribe numbered the most males? Nice picture, real quality. That's dope. That's how I like to dress, you guys. That's how I look.
That's how I'm trying to look. That's a nice look.
That's right. That's right. I gotta go get all that gold though. They're draped. I got my dreads, so I'm almost there. And then when I go out to the wilderness, that's the intent. I want to look like that. Like, oh man, he's here. He's in
That's how the kingdoms of the earth, the people that own the kingdom of the earth look like.
Yeah. Sister Eve is on fire. Y'all better watch out. In which book of the Tanakh can we find this week's Haftarah? All your answers are right there. Nice picture. They in that scroll. That's what we supposed to be doing. Different people, different seed. We can't continue if we want to be whores. Cutting off the seed, cutting off the harvest. Michelle's on fire. Kelvin, Kobe, let's go. Dawid, good job. Let's hit it. Where's my girl? Where's some job? How many males left Egypt according to Moses' count? How many males left? What a journey. Yeah, y'all's gonna talk to us, everybody, when we get back out to the wilderness. You're going and I'm going. You got to be ready. Kobe just took a strong position. He said his fingers are faster. I know what the number of which tribe is not included in this count. You guys know what it is. Who's not included in the count? Which tribe? Fast fingers get you to score. Hit the right button. Let's go. There we go. Kelvin's moving back up again. Eve is still in second place. You got to type your answer. Age of military service at least blank years old. How many years? Number of letters. Let's go. I see Michael B. Jordan in there. Killmonger's in there. He looked like Killmonger. How old did you have to be to get in military service? Type your answer. You guys are going to be sharp. Like, you know what? This Torah stuff is working out. I'm getting to understand what this family's about and what's going on. Why the Most High wants it 20? Oh, because they know the difference between good and evil. How many geras are in a shekel? A little bit Hebrew information. Geras and shekels. You got to know your Torah portion in order to get this. That means you got to sit back and take some notes. You got to take some notes. It's always good. I'm learning to write notes, everyone, when I do my Torah portions now. All right, so Mishal is still in the lead. Strong lead there. 9 of 13. Multi-select. Name the 3 sons of Lewi. 3 sons. Click all of which ones you think is his sons. 3 of them. There you go. There you go. Go on now. All right, Kelvin just took a strong lead over Kobe. 10 of 13. What was the job of the Kohites, the sons of the Kohat? What was their jobs? What are they supposed to do? Boy, what a responsibility they had, huh? They did something they're supposed to. They were gone. Mishal is trying to kill the game, Dawid. Come on now. Let's go. Levites begin their service at age what? And retire from active service at 50. What? Type your answer. I gave you that answer today. Good job, everyone. Type your answer. How many shekels are required to redeem a firstborn Israelite son? How many? Puzzle. Arrange from oldest to the youngest. Who's coming to the podium today? Third place, strong 52.99. Kobe, great job. Second place, Eve. I like them glasses. 11.243. Mishal. Good job, everyone. Fourth place, Kelvin. W. Fifth. Thank you guys so much for playing today. Awesome. Shavua Tov to everyone.
One question.
Yes.
In order to redeem the son, how many shekels? I forget.
5.
5. Okay. Shavua Tov. Toda.
Shavua Tov. Hallelujah. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Shavua Tov, everyone. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Hopefully, I didn't keep you too long. Hope you learned something today. May Yahweh bless you and your families.
Ashik, I had a question before you leave.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so you think the Book of Jubilees is creditable?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about Jasher and Enoch?
No,
No?
not those two.
Yeah,
Nope.
what about Sese?
Jasher is not. Listen, Jasher. They call Jasher by the name of Jasher, but Jasher is just. It's not a name of a person. It's actually a name of a called the Book of the Upright, because that's what you.
You cut out. I don't know if you can still hear me.
It's not. They're saying that it's written by a person named Jasher. It's not. It's an actual title of a book. It's called the Book of the Upright. So all the different acts in which they've done is those acts are supposed to be written down. So in those books, though, you're not seeing some of the things that that are not mentioned, right, in the Torah. So, for example, the things that Joshua did, that should have been stipulated. So there's a lot of questions around Jasher. So I've read Jasher, and I've never, I'm looking for connections, and I don't see any connections in Jasher. Enoch, I know a lot of people read Enoch, but they say that there's Enoch 1, 2, and 3, and all these different ones. So those are not really so much credible. So there's a lot of discrepancies there. But also, too, they take a lot of things in the book of Enoch. Enoch number 1 only goes up to talk about Noah, right? So he's the one that he's been talking about, that so-called savior of the world. He's the one that's supposed to help bring and restore order back to the earth. So that one right there is questionable for me, because of the descriptions of the things, right? But other than that, Jubilees for sure.
Well, the book of Enoch is like a big portion of it is an exact replica of what the book of Revelations
Yeah.
is.
Well, that was another thing that I considered too. It's like, nah, it just, I mean, they probably bit off of there and like, okay, well, let's take some of that. But
Fallen.
authorship of it and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of questions around it. But when I looked at the
They're
Jubilee
fallen.
and Yovel, I looked at what's the source, where they come from, and the Gaez, I guess it's a Gaez, is from the Ethiopic text. So that right there has been around for a long, long time, and they've been guarding it, and they never put it in. They never canonized any of it. They never really mention it or any of those things. But that one right there, I've been through the whole entire book several times, and I don't see anything that's questionable.
What
Nothing.
about the wisdom of Solomon?
Nope. I read that one too. You'll find a lot of errors in chapter number 7 of the book of Solomon. No, chapter 5, 6, and 7. That's where you're going to find a lot of those errors in the wisdom of Solomon. You're going to find a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff that contradicts the actual Torah. So I don't accept that either.
The Maccabees?
That's historical. That's not a book. That's a historical book. It's not a book of authority, right? It's not authoritative.
Right.
So it gives you the family of the Maccabeans, and it gives you the where's that, Hyrcanus, John, and all them, and the Greeks and the Romans and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I read that. That's historical information. Book of Maccabees is great for history. Yeah, that's legit.
Also, I was wondering, about a man cutting his hair and beard.
Mhm.
Like when I looked, like a lot of people are saying that, like, men don't cut their hair and beard. Hang on, baby. But like when I looked it up, a lot of that stuff in the Torah and stuff like that is talking about ceremonial stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it goes back to talking about the priests, right? So that was for them, right? But when he talks about, but you got to look at when he says don't cut into your beard, not don't cut your beard, don't make markings that cut into your beard. What they were doing is, because of the cultural areas that they were in, or the environment they were in, the people that were there were cutting into their beards and marring their beards, not cutting it, marring it, meaning removing the hair from it and causing scarring where the beard wouldn't grow back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to look at that. So it's not, say don't mar. There's, don't cut your beard. No, it doesn't say don't cut. It says don't mar. And mar means to make any type of impression to the skin where you destroy the actual beard. by the markings that you're making on your face.
Yeah, because I had a long beard and long hair for a while, and then I cut my hair short, and then I was just the other day I was like, yeah, I looked it up and I was like, okay, this looks ceremonial. So now I get a short beard and shaved head.
Well, you're right, but even the priests, they got to trim their hair, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it's talking about. Well, I mean, and think about this: when they would shave their heads, when they would go into the being a Nazarite, they would have to shave all their hair off. So they grew dreads, and then after their vow was over, they cut all their hair off. When you got unclean, you had to shave all your hair off.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was
Yeah,
permissible under different things, but you got to take a look at that.
yeah. Yeah, I tried to get some people in here, man, from the old Torah Logic, whatever.
Yeah, they
But
quit.
what?
They quit.
Well, not all of them, but I mean, like the ones that are still faithful,
Yeah.
like Yaris and George, and I try to tell them, but I forget a lot. But Prolific went and shut his Discord down too.
Wow.
Like, what's going on with everyone, man?
I don't know. I don't
Like,
know.
like what do you? Did I already ask you that? Like, what do you think about all the stuff that they're talking about? How the
I just
scriptures are credible?
no, but what it is, here's the deal. There's always going to be something out there where people are going to question, right?
Yeah,
They're saying, "Hey, it's written in the third person. So how could that be him? How did he write that if it's in the third person? That whole thing."
yeah,
But it's just because they don't understand. Michelle brought it out. They don't understand the culture. They understand the language, bro. They really don't. They're going off of the English words, which can divert you. You could easily get diverted. Just one word, it could divert you. It could cause you to go off onto another place. You think it's talking to one individual, and it's talking to a group of people. It's talking to a bunch of people when it's really talking to one person. You just don't know, right? So you have to be faithful to what you know, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I know that when I woke up to it wasn't because I read the Torah and I read what it said and it resonated with me and I tried my best to ignore it, but
Well,
just
here's another thing.
What?
When you run into contradictions that you cannot explain, you're kind of putting your foot in your mouth. You're biting off a little too much that you can't chew. And if you can't break it down to people logically, then you look like a fool. And here you are on a platform for teaching for months, and you get hit with a contradiction because you're reading it in English. You keep getting hit with a contradiction that you just cannot you cannot figure it out.
yeah, because of the grammar.
Yeah,
It's the reason why they're getting caught up is because they don't understand the grammar. Because it's not just the word, it's the how it was said. It's whether it's a verb or whether it's a noun or what type of verb is it. There's like 58 different ways that something could be said in Hebrew. Everyone's thinking it's just one way and is in English. No, it's 58 different ways that it could be conjugated. 58. So if you don't know the 5-7 Binyamin, if you don't understand that, you're done. You're not going to get it. You might get a little bit of it, but you're not going to get it. So that's why I decided to search out the language and the grammar and everything. Because when I present, I don't want to be. I was lied to, and I told people things that weren't true, and I felt so bad about it. I was like, I can never let this ever happen again, ever. And that's why I decided to learn the language and the grammar.
You didn't give up. You didn't just go out in shame and just hang your gloves up.
No, I wanted to though, but I didn't. I got mad. I was so mad. My anger fueled my desire to know more.
Yeah. Also, you're ex-military.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. I am too.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you that before.
What are you, Air Force, Marines, Army?
Navy.
Navy. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I was 8 months over in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman after 9/11.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, that was fun.
Yeah.
I was on the Enterprise.
What?
I was on the Enterprise, USS Enterprise
Nice.
Right.
That's a
carrier.
carrier, yeah.
USS Ponce LPD 15 Gator Navy.
Oh,
Myself.
well, look at all these
Nice,
guys.
nice, nice. Brothers in arms and brothers in the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sister Eve, you got your hand raised. Hey, Sister Eve
Huh?
has her hand raised. What's up, Sister Eve?
Hi, Chika. I've got a very quick question. Thank you for the message, by the way, for today. I just wanted to understand our current situation where, if we look at the book of Daniel, I think it was, don't quote me, I think it was Isaiah. I think I might be mistaken it for Isaiah, where there was a reference with the creator talking about King Cyrus. Um, and he was talking about how he will conquer the earth, how he will be with him, and blah blah blah. I just wondered, is that happening as well now? Because I do know that the scripture did stipulate that the creator is in charge of everything, obviously good, but good and bad. Is that the case now when we look at the leaders of this modern world? Is he the one, obviously, is he the one directing them, or is he the one kind of controlling them based off of the decisions they're making?
No, well, remember he knows the end from the beginning, right? So all the decisions that are being made, he already knows that's the decisions that they're going to make, right? Whether it's their own, like Pharaoh, he knew that he was going to make those decisions, even though he knew that this is going to be his plan. His plan is already the all-knowing Elohim knows everything. To answer your question, yes, he's in charge. He sets up kingdoms, he controls kingdoms, he sets them up. In the book of Daniel, he does say that Nebuchadnezzar came to the understanding that everything is in his hand, right? I was looking for the scripture off the top so you
The
can,
hard way.
yeah, you can look at it as a reference and be able to go there. And let me find it right quick to marinate on it. But you're right, Koresh is in the book of Isaiah chapter number 45. And he did move, the Most High moved him and had him do the things that he needed him to do for his people. So everything is happening, and world leaders are being moved around for the benefit of the children of Israel. Let me find out what I'm seeing. That's going to be chapter number 4. Okay. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's read the last part of 4. I'm going to share this with you so you can have a good reference scripture. And it's for everyone else too. You can look at it and you can see what is going on. Okay. It's going to be found in the book of Daniel, and Elohim is my judge. This is a great reference scripture to remind us about what this king, the King of Kings, the Most High called him a King of Kings, what he recognized. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole story, but I'm going to read the latter part of his experience with the Most High that we can find in verse number 34, I think. Here it is. Okay. All right. All right. I think that read that. All right. So let's start at verse 29. It says, 2 months later, as he was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Bavel, the king said, Bavel the Great, I built it as a royal residence by my power and force to enhance the glory of my majesty. So he's giving reference to himself. He says, no sooner had the king spoken these words than a voice came down from heaven. King Nebuchadnezzar, these words are for you. The kingdom has left you. You will be driven from human society to live with the wild animals. You will be made to eat grass like an ox, be drenched with the dew from the sky. 7 seasons pass over you until you learn that the Most High rules in the human kingdom and gives it to whomever he pleases. Within the hour, the word was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar was driven from human society. He ate grass like an ox, and his body was drenched with the dew from heaven. And under his hair until his hair had grown like the eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. When this period was over, which is 7 years, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes towards heaven, and my understanding came back to me. So we see the timing. Okay. I blessed the Most High. I praised and gave honor to him who lives forever, for his rulership is everlasting. His kingdom endures through all generations. All who live on earth are counted as nothing. He does what he wishes with the army of heaven and with those living on earth. I'll read it again. He does what he wishes with the army of heaven and with those living on earth. No one can hold back his hand or ask him, "What are you doing?" It was at that moment that my understanding came back to me. For the sake of the glory of my kingdom, my majesty and splendor also came back to me. My advisors, Lord, sought me out. I was reestablished in my kingdom. To my previous greatness, even more was added. So now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and honor the King of heaven. For all his works are truth, and all his ways are just, and he can humble those who walk in pride. My favorite part is that no one can stop or hold his hand back and ask him, "What are you doing?" He'll do whatever pleases him. He'll move whoever sometimes we think that we're doing it. It's because Yah has enabled that king, or like Koresh, Caesar, or excuse me, Cyrus to do what the Most High wants him to do. All the victories come from the Most High. All the defeats come from the Most High. All the wars come from the Most High. All the troubles come from the Most High. All the curses come from the Most High. All the blessings come from the Most High. There's nothing that can escape him. So whatever it is that a person's intent is, even evil, that people are saying, "This is evil." The Most High said, "I'm the one who created evil. I'm creating it. I can do whatever I want." It says, "I create the wicked for the day of judgment." People have a problem with that. I created the wicked. I created them. Who can challenge the Most High? Who can say that this is light and this is darkness, so you should do this and you can't do this? So that's where we're at. And because we've been taught religious practices by these people, we're thinking that he is not in control and that it's all arbitrary and that we can make, our decisions about what's going to happen. And that's not the case. You might make some decisions. It's not that you don't have free will. Your free will is within alignment with his will, because he already knows what you're going to do. Like he told Shlomo, "I know what you're going to do. You've been wanting to do this from the beginning." Told Moses, "Israel is going to go against me. They're going to prostitute themselves." Chapter number 31 in the book of Deuteronomy. They're going to go against me. I already know this. I know that they're going to go against me. So if he knows it, then why does he allow it? If he knows Israel is going to abandon him, why would he do it? If he knows they're not going to fear him, because he has a bigger plan in store for us. He knows that we were a whore. We're the clay. He knows what he got. He knows what he got. So it's nothing new. For us, it's new, but not for him. So yes, he is in control. Any missiles that are flying, because he said it can. The sun comes up today, it's because he said rise, gave a commandment. If it doesn't shine today, it's because he said not to. He's the king of the heavens and the earth and everything in it. So what role do you and I supposed to play in it? We're supposed to go along with it and do what he says. And just like he knows that we're going to mess up, he also knows who's going to come back to him. He also knows that we're going to be willing to turn. He also knew that too. See, he knows. He's not forcing us to come back to him. He's not trying to be in a forced relationship with us. He knows that there's a group of people that are going to listen to me. There's a group of people that are going to study. There's individuals that are going to make up their mind no matter what's going on. There's some people that are going to read it and say, "I don't believe this," and leave the Torah that Bruce was talking about. They're going to leave the Torah, walk away from it, because they don't understand it. And because they want to be him. They want to be in charge. Don't you get it? They want to be the final decision maker, and they're not. That's why he said, I can change my mind anytime. I can do whatever he wants to do. If the Most High decided to put an end to me because he didn't like me, who am I to say anything? Who am I? Judah's sons, Er and Onan. He killed Er. Why? He didn't like him. He didn't like him. He didn't like what he represented. But didn't he make him? Yeah. He is sovereign. Everything that comes off the ground is not going to be perfect. You can't tell the Most High, you got to choose this or these people. That's why people don't understand why they choose the children of Israel. Why would you choose such a people, such a hard-headed people, such a stubborn people? Because it will bring him glory. It's going to make him shine. Because look at his mercy and his compassion. It's like we're the perfect people to be those people, because everything we've done requires mercy. It requires righteousness and judgment. And we get to see the compassion of the Most High. The world is going to be able to recognize it and see it among the people like, oh my goodness, look what these people did. And look what he's done for them. Oh, he is Elohim. He is merciful. These are the people that turn on him. These are the idolaters. These are the people that are on the streets with their pants hanging off their butt. These are the people who are dressed immodestly. These are the whores of the land. These people are the filthiest people, the most vulgar people. These are his people. The poorest people on the face of the earth, with the less don't even have a land or inheritance, that are pretending to be somebody. Yeah. Those are the people. The enslaved people? Yeah. That's right. So that's why he chose us. Hallelujah. I'm going to let you guys go. I enjoyed you today. And hopefully, if y'all's willing, I'll see you next week.
Shavuot Tov, Akika.
Thank you very much. Shabbat Tov, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.